to the show, and this is Alone with a Man. And I just got done recording that song, and that is going to be Aborted Son. Now, I just got done playing with my 401 LTD, not the ESP, it's just LTD, but I tell you what, this thing works, this thing chugs, this thing will lay down some heavy riffs if you let it. I got lots of distortion. I'm running it through my JCM 900 with the Zach Wild MXR pedal. Got a little bit of chorus running through it, and my 10 band EQ also by MXR, which I just love. So today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about records, maybe a little bit of what happened in news, maybe a little bit of political stuff. I'll probably cover something that dropped recently as far as bands, something that's a little bit old. It's still kind of recent. I also want to do a FAQ, frequently asked questions. I know there's a couple people out there that have already asked questions on the channel, even though it is new, it is growing. There's stuff out there that people want to know about me, about my one-man band, and just some stuff in general. Like I said, I wanted to hit some politics, and it's just basically, what do you guys think about Trump getting shot at and hit? I'm extremely against it. There's no place for assassinations. There's no place for that type of violence in America. Yes, I do support and defend the Constitution. Yes, I'm former military, but I do not want people just shooting at people for no apparent reason. Obviously, this guy had problems. In metal news, we have a recent update from Glenn Benton from Deicide. Now, a quick take on it. Is Deicide black metal or death metal? They are Antichrist. They scream with the screeching vocals, but yet they use a guttural vocal also basically at the same time. Obviously, that's double tracked. He doesn't do it live. Usually he just does the guttural vocals. Dubbing of tapes. But let's get back to what Glenn Benton said. And according to Glenn, he doesn't like meet and greets for payment. He doesn't want to take somebody's money just to meet him. He doesn't want to take money because he's signing somebody's stuff. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting Heathen, and they actually signed an album that I bought at the show, and they didn't charge. They were more than happy to sign my stuff. But on the flip side, I had met Undertaker one time, and he was completely out of character the way he was dressed. He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and maybe he wanted to not have that persona. I know he tried very hard throughout his career to always come off as a very tough, uncaring, unfeeling person. And he always played the Undertaker character very, very well, whether he was on stage or off stage. But back to what Glenn said, quote, I'm not a big fan of the whole charging fans for signatures. I give a fan a signature out of kindness in my heart, not because I want to make money off of them. The fact that they're a fan and listen to our material, I know things are different. Most people get for free now, but I still can't come to terms with that. To charge someone for my signature, especially a fan. Changing gears to the thrash metal scene, on longtime favorites of the big four is Megadeth and Kiko Loren. Now, Kiko Loren isn't a guitarist anymore, but he does say that he's very proud of the 2 albums that he recorded with Megadeth. Kiko always stated that he was a huge, huge part of the family of Megadeth. He always wanted to do stuff for the band, whether it was help setting up, recordings. I've even seen the man have his camcorder going while the show is going on. He'll walk out on stage and just record the camera, record the film, record the people, record anything. He recorded the lighting. He recorded everything. He'd walk around the stage while the riggers were setting stuff up. He'd record while, the backdrop was going up. He'd record the backdrop. The man loved Megadeth, but the man loves his family also, his actual biological family. And I really think he was torn between the two. He stated that he doesn't want to burn bridges. And why should he? Why put a dirty name out for yourself? let him do his thing. He recorded a few solos with the band. Like I said, he recorded 2 full albums with the band. And for a guitarist in Megadeth, it's actually a lot. And staying with thrash metal, even though it's more on the poppier side of metal, I guess, John Bush. John Bush was recently asked what he thought of Metallica, and are they just hanging back? Are they actually doing stuff? What is it that they're doing? John Bush responded with, Metallica is a band that never rests on their laurels, and what they've done, they're always taking chances. They're always doing different things. They're always expanding on their style and pushing the boundaries of their listeners, whether it's doing the orchestra stuff or doing a record with Lou Reed or making just a metal, powerful, thrashing record. The live performances I want to see our SoFi Stadium here in Los Angeles, and it was phenomenal. And that's actually according to Armored Saints' John Bush. Now, John was asked to play with Metallica back in the early 80s, but he turned him down. Just imagine Metallica sound now with John Bush as a more of an Exodus kind of Bobby Blitz feel to it, or Overkill, with the screechy voice, or Overkill, with the screechy voice, Overkill, with the screechy voice. All right, let's talk about some recent releases. Exodus released British Disaster, the Battle of '89. And I have it. I listened to it. I've listened to it twice now, maybe 3 times, if you don't consider me walking out of the room for half of it and then coming back in. It is a double album, and I'm talking the vinyl. I don't do CDs. I'm trying to bring most of my cassettes back. But it's annoying to me, these double vinyls, to sit down, start reading my book, listening to some good thrash metal, and have to get up, walk across the room, and flip the record over, and then change the record, and then flip the record over again. And if it's something long, I'm all for it. Iron Maiden's Live After Death is a prime example. It's a good run. But there's about 2 songs per side. And yeah, it is high quality, and yes, it is a deeper grain. It's the 180 vinyl, and it looks cool. I think I got the gold. There was multiple ones, different runs, and I like it, but it's just the hassle. But as far as the record itself, though, American Thrash Metal Masters Exodus released their live album, British Disaster, the Battle of '89, live at the Astoria. Now, this was 35 years ago, and it's been locked away. But the energy and the heaviness that Exodus radiated at these live concerts give every metal fan a reason to add it to their personal collection. A must for every metalhead. And I have it. I do like it, like I said. There's Piranha that's on it. And Gary Holt stated that I, as well as the other band formed members and current, are super excited for the release of the new old record, British Disaster, the Battle of '89. When we first discovered these long-hidden master reels, we were intrigued. When we listened, we were crushed. Can't wait for everyone else to hear this record, and a band on fire. Now, who else is going to do this? Who of the little 4? Exodus? Now, I know they did something a few years ago, but something new, something more small club. I think something like at the Ritz or the Roxy would be kind of cool. No one needs big stadium productions anymore. The bands are over all that, except for few hair metal bands like Motley Crue, or I don't know, whatever hooker band is out there nowadays. But I'm thinking more small bands should do more live albums. Overkill, you listening? D.D. Verney, take some notes. And finally, Q&A time. My first question is, could I name a song I personally feel connected to, and what would it be? And the song that I wrote that I personally feel connected to is Third Degree, which can be heard on Bandcamp right now. Just look up Battle of Trenton, and then the song will be there. And it's about one of my friends from the Marines that had died in his tank. He was basically burned alive. And it's a black metal song, and I wrote it pretty fast. I wrote it in maybe 2 nights, but the whole time I thought of what he was going through and what it must have been like for him and the other two men in that vehicle as they burned to death. And that's one of my songs that I obviously feel the most passionate about, that I can't relate to it. I was infantry, I was on the ground, I wasn't stuck in a tank, I wasn't, roasted alive. But it's first question is, could I name a song I personally feel connected to, and what would it be? And the song that I wrote that I personally feel connected to is Third Degree, which can be heard on Bandcamp right now. Just look up Battle of Trenton, and then the song will be there. And it's about one of my friends from the Marines that had died in his tank. He was basically burned alive. And it's a black metal song, and I wrote it pretty fast. I wrote it in maybe 2 nights, but the whole time I thought of what he was going through and what it must have been like for him and the other two men in that vehicle as they burned to death. And that's one of my songs that I obviously feel the most passionate about, that I can't relate to it. I was infantry, I was on the ground, I wasn't stuck in a tank, I wasn't, roasted alive. But it's the song I feel closest to right now. And that's the end. You all tell me what you think, what I can improve, what needs better. How's the audio? How's the video? Would you like to see some little snippets between stuff? Do you want to see some overlays? Is it too long? Is it too short? That's what she said. What else can I improve on? I'm going to try and do one of these once a week. This is Alone with a Man, number 1.